Hello.
Hey Sachin, hi, how are you?
Hi, Shobhit. Um, yeah, I know I started the meeting here. I realized it can go longer and uh, can be recorded also.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
thank you for being here.
cool. So what have you thought since we last met? So I believe you've been speaking to few VPs and CEOs, right?
Yes, I've got much more clarity on the requirements and
Mm-hmm.
specifically one aspect, one feature, which one VP has highly advised me to integrate is like a strategy builder, right? That is
Mm.
a go-to-market strategy. So this is more of intelligence. Um, what obviously we can't replace human uh, strategy building skill, but do you think that it is possible if I have like maybe I can share with you a you know diagram of how this works in the mind of, let's say, a VP and how we can, implement it.
Sure,
So,
sure, sure.
without
Absolutely.
further ado, let me share that image. Um, yeah, so you may have studied, you must be may or must be aware of go-to-market, right? This is
Great.
I picked up from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I can even share the video with you if you want to get into more details. But the way the coach explains is, how it starts with you identify the urgent and important problem in the market that you want to solve,
Perfect.
right? In step one, then you get into the macroeconomics. Third step, you identify your positioning for your product. Then you look at the competitor analysis, and then you look at your what is it value proposition identify in the fifth step, and finally you actually do your marketing for your product with all these inputs in place. And he's showing in this, you can see this picture, right? So
Correct.
he's
I can see.
identified like the box, like you're defining the boundaries of your I think features of the product,
Mm.
and then you
Mm.
identify what sectors you're targeting, whether it's enterprise sector clients,
Mm.
or, SMBs, or much smaller companies. And then the dots represent, like the red dots are existing competition products in the market.
Mm.
So, and then this circle that he is drawn is the white space where there is no competition. So you can position your product in that segment. um, and then the green dot is like if you're trying to compete with existing products and launch a product with some value adds, and then accordingly you define your pricing points. So this is what obviously somebody who is creating the strategy, this is how they think, the smart VPs, let's say. But then if we want AI to probably only gather inputs, we can obviously do that. So maybe you tell me how this could be, or could we come up with, let's say we have five market research documents, let's say from Gartner and other major agencies, and we have also inputs from, let's say, marketing department of that company saying, whatever it is, through content, through inbound leads, what the market wants. We have all that data and how we could process this in the AI world.
See, Sachin, whatever whatever the AI will do depends on how well trained the AI model is, right? So there are two things. One is that you will be training the AI model on being a GTM, let's say GTM creator, right? GTM plan creator, right? You will tell ki what all things the AI model should be adding when it creates a GTM plan, right? But then for training or for getting the right inputs for that particular product, the model should be trained on what your product is, right? The model should be trained on what all how these six things the model should be thinking about, or let's say what are those six plans the model should be thinking about or model should be writing about when creating a GTM plan, right? So a lot depends on how we are training the model, and then the model will come up with a GTM plan as a first version. that the human can look at, and then it can he or she can refine from there.
So we would be able to program uh, what? See, model is one thing. You gather the data points for this entire, all the 6 steps, right? That's probably the
Correct.
first step.
Mm.
Then you classify your data.
Mm.
So that data is in the PDFs, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reports,
Mm-hmm.
and then you scrape it, and then based on that, you do the like classification. That data is, I don't know whether it goes to vector DB, and then you label those elements. Is that how it's going to go forward? And then based on all that data, the model trained on certain parameters that, okay, if you come across, say, statistics, then that is market share, whatever it is. So you put your instructions or prompts, and then
Correct.
it gets trained. And then there is another layer of code that, because to gather the gathered intelligence, you need to do strategy. So looks like what you're pointing at is, yes, it is possible that you give like a recommended strategy. So
Yes,
again,
yes,
we are not debating here that this is replacing the because let's say that VP has 20 years of experience doing this, and
right,
he's very seasoned. Some of them just see through and have their opinion on the table in hours. Maybe
right.
they're taking like days to just collate this information,
Mm.
uh, and there is nothing like that is churning all the documents together and saying, you know what, this is a one page, one paragraph summary of what you should do.
Exactly.
So are you hinting at that this altogether could be, after training the model, could be able to produce that intelligence?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what an AI model should be able to, right? Isn't it? See, isn't how I see AI models functioning is they are never replacing humans. They are just making them more efficient, right? Isn't if in case as a human or as a human VP, right? I take, let's say, 10 days to come out with a strategy, then this can at least give me a starting point in maybe 1 hour itself, right? So this
So
is how the AI model should function. Also, sorry, I'll just take one thing. We can also kind of train AI models on a GTM strategy of different companies, right? Let's say if in case you want to start for a B2 for a retail B2C, right? Maybe we should be having some GTM plans for the retail B2C companies. We can train the AI models on those, whatever has been successful, whatever has not been successful. So the model gets these inputs, and the model, when it gives you the output, it will be taking care of all these inputs that the model has been trained on. So I always stress on a very wide knowledge base. A wide knowledge base helps the model to get to get the entire context. As in, the better context the model has, the better output, or most realistic output the model will be giving out.
So see, when let's say we have an early adopter, a client, obviously we are going to access their proprietary data. So the application is deployed on their on-prem or in their cloud. So we, let's say, host a bucket, and we upload all their documents there. So in
Mm.
their security, secured zone, we the bot is training the models that are getting trained. So when you say the wider the context, better it is for the bot or the AI to learn. But we are
Sure.
here only going to, if we are focused on one client, we will be having only their proprietary. Let's say they have really expensive, like thousands of dollars worth of market research reports in this area. So that is all proprietary data that it is training on. Obviously, we can also get openly available literature, but I'm sure this will be much more quality data that is
Mm.
already available in their system.
Correct.
Or if we are not talking about enterprise level client, if it is a SME that doesn't have, such what do you call sophisticated reports, they may have to rely on the web data, or they may just subscribe to some library of commerce, and for a small subscription fee get those reports, and we have access to them, and we
Correct.
train on those. So when you say more wider the knowledge base, what are you suggesting how better this model would be trained?
See, okay, let's take a step back. Maybe let's understand that, let's say there are two enterprises, right, who may want to use the same application. let's take a step back and let's understand that how this would work, right? See, as in for the two enterprises, let's say one is a retail B2C and other is a fintech, right?
Yeah.
And both want to have a GTM plan for their product. Both have some products and they want to launch the product. They have this. They want to have a GTM plan, right? See, as in the knowledge base for both of the companies will be different, correct? As in the reports of retail B2B, retail B2C, or the reports of fintech will be different. Okay. Now, given that it is different, the bot should be able to understand the context for both the models, right? So the
Yes.
contextual understanding or the knowledge base stays with the organization who buys the bot. We will give folders, as in the when we configure the bot, we will allow you. See, maybe I can show you.
Let me stop sharing.
Just 1 minute. Okay. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
See, this is an AI model that we are building for Shopify support, right? The model has been trained to provide support for the Shopify store owners only. Now, if you go and chat with this model, it is not going to give you, it will hallucinate, right? Now, here, let's say there are 10 Shopify store owners, all are going to train their bot as per their store rules. And this is the knowledge base wherein the user will be having. As in the, let's say 10 of them will buy an account, they will be coming and they'll be training their bot as per their knowledge base. So you can see that this user has uploaded 5 documents, right? So this is how it
Okay.
is
So
going to
this
work.
this is your administrator's dashboard. We are able to see for individual clients what data they
No,
have
this
uploaded.
is this is my Shopify account, my user dashboard, my user account, and here I have uploaded my documents. So as in I am able to control what documents I need to train the bot with,
All right.
right? So I am
Mhm.
controlling that. Now as an admin, the view that I have is, let's say I have 10 such accounts, so I am not able to access the documents that these guys are uploading. I'm only able to access, or I'm only able to see how many active users I have they made the payment or not, only that thing, right?
Yep.
So this is how this will be working. Similarly, as in this retail B2C guy or a fintech B2C guy, they'll be having their accounts. They will upload the knowledge base. The prompting stays at a central place. As in, it stays with the assistant that will be creating, right? So the prompting will tell model what to do, correct? But the knowledge base can change from company to company.
Yes. And so what you said that say for each vertical for fintech, I mean the what do you call data models for cells can be generically classified. Is there a right statement so that they
Sorry,
can be
say that.
so is it true that when you are doing data classification for cells domain in general, it
Hmm.
is if I am training the bot for different verticals in sales, it's possible to label, let's say there are at the most 100,000 labels possible, of which for fintech, no, these are the 100,000 generic labels for all domains. And maybe there will be some specialized domains, like say 20,000. Is this a right statement? So that what I can say, conclude is that there is a data model that is for the entire domain, and then we can have additional classification or labels for those verticals so that you
What is
can
the
train
label?
the same model in different verticals.
What is the label here?
So the way I understand it is because I don't have know enough about data science, how they do the data classification. I assume that whatever you scrape through, that data will be classified, that this is that kind of, like, this is a statistic, or this is a warning, whatever it is. So in my mind, the picture of data classification is that you have certain parameters or labels, and you group a lot of data in those buckets. Is that, first of all, the right assumption?
See, as in, we are not going there. I mean, those are
What?
more of complex machine learning models that you're talking about. That does this, data segregation. Right now, the scope that we have doesn't require any machine learning model or data segregation building. It's simple, as in we will be creating an AI application that will have capability to get trained as per the user's requirement, and there will be one central place with which will be controlling the behavior of that bot. This is how it is. When you say, when you say that, let's say you want to train the bot on uh, 1000, or let's say 20 years of data, wherein uh, companies, I mean, that data has the GTM plans and also has the success and failure details, right? Then comes the machine learning applications, wherein we'll be training the model, and then let's say you, I mean, first the AI model will be giving you a GTM plan, and then you kind of ask what is the possibility of success with this GTM plan. Then it will be doing some complex churning and will come out with some, analytics, will show you a probability, will give you graphs and charts. So all those are complex things. Let's not
Mhm.
get into there. Let's keep it simple. An AI application that you can train on and ask the GTM plan from the AI bot. That should be step one. And
Yeah, so
then we kind
building
of
building GTM. Yeah, go on.
sorry, and then we kind of just see, as in we kind of train the bot as per verticals or as per industries, and it's actually going to be a big work. As in, we need to keep on training the bot, right? As in, the bot should have capability to be trained and to understand the industry's vertical concepts. Then only it will be giving you the right out.
Yeah, so we are simply talking about beginning with the based on this 4, 5, 10 documents. You just create the conclusive strategy.
Exactly.
And what you said is the next level will be that we have 20 years of GTM plans with their success and failure ratios. And then maybe the VP feeds his own plan and says, give
Exactly.
me the possibilities or success rate. Because I think this is also an additional helpful step, because if they are not trusting what AI is generating in the early months, uh, when it is deployed for at a client, they can't parallelly start testing, because they don't have if they have their historic plans, and if our module is also up and running, which does that analysis of success ratios, that is also going to be useful. Because if they are not satisfied with what AI is doing for creating a plan with existing data, then
Correct.
whether they can validate their own plan through AI. If but that development in this project will be down the line, because it is a
Yes.
complex initiative. But when
Yes.
as a whole the product is complete, and if the client gets that product when everything is ready, they can either get the plan from AI. If they don't trust that plan, or if they don't like it, then they would at least they can get their own plan validated. Okay, that will be a good addition, but it will be a complex development piece of work. Got it. Okay, that's interesting. Let me have a look. I think I tried to had sent you some points so I don't forget.
Sure.
Multi-vertical model we are discussing.
Yes.
Yeah. What are your views on Microsoft Copilot integration using their APIs and into now again this project that we are talking about, isn't it a combination of Gen AI and LLMs, or are you just would you be just doing uh, LLM based, or like model LLM based project? How is it? Because it involves generating documents also. So is it a combination of both?
Okay. Susan, maybe I can clarify that what is an LLM and how it kind of supports the generative AI concepts, right? So LLMs are like large language models. An example of LLM
Yes.
is OpenAI model, which OpenAI has. Within OpenAI, there are different LLM models. One is GPT 3.5, then we have GPT 4. Then recently, 2 months, 3 months back, they launched GPT 4.0. Now they're talking about GPT 5. This is an OpenAI model, right? Fine-tuned, trained model, already hosted. Right now, I mean, most easy to use. You call the APIs and you'll be easy to use the model. That's one, right? That is an LLM model. Next is we have open source model like Hugging Face, Llama 3 of Facebook. If you I'm not sure if they have launched in London or not, but India they have launched the co-pilot in WhatsApp. As in WhatsApp,
Oh,
you'll
yes.
now
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that just yesterday. Yes.
yeah. So they've done that, right, and that is using Llama 3, right? So when we go for open source models, then there is a need for hosting. We need to host that model. We need to fine tune that model. The OpenAI models are already fine tuned. There we have to provide more of context, right? Also OpenAI does RAG. We can also do RAG there. In open source model, we have to must have to do the RAG, right? So now everything as in these LLM world helps you achieve a generative AI features, right? So I mean, with LLMs you are able to get I mean, you are able to achieve the generative AI capabilities. So anyhow
Yes.
LLM will be used. If you're talking
Okay.
about
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
generative
It
AI project,
is. It
then
is not.
LLM.
Can't be out of the picture because it is kind of the driving engine, so it's there anyway. It's just that you're if maybe you are using the extended features of Gen AI with the help of LLMs, which is never going to be out of the picture. Got it.
Correct.
Okay. Um, yeah, so that co-pilot integration bit, because I was driven into the area where I started exploring Microsoft's Dynamic 365. They have this sales CRM, I believe. And obviously, they have integrated Copilot with their APIs and everything. Uh, and probably in HubSpot and Salesforce Einstein, I don't know if that is a Copilot integration. Not sure. Yeah, I haven't done enough research. So my
why
point
why do you
was
why do you want to do Copilot integration? As
because,
in, what do you
see,
want to achieve?
yeah, my understanding, okay, because I don't know enough probably that if you are going to use Copilot as the underlying bot, right? So you're not training your data like now. Here comes the interesting bit because it is proprietary data. It will be in a secured. They have some. Do you have some techniques to make sure that it is probably encrypted when it is sent to the model? My whole point is why not take advantage of highly so evolved Copilot, like they have their APIs and they have much more advancement, right, on as a bot. So rather than we building a bot, isn't it better to, if it protects the integrity of the client's data, to link to their Copilot and get a lot of things done through their functionality? I mean, is that even
the
an
best
option?
way the best way to protect the integrity of the data is to build your own Copilot, right? So see,
Yes.
as in Copilot has become more of a marketing term, but Copilot is, I mean, so let's understand what it is essentially doing. Copilot is an application that integrates with your system and helps you and helps you with your answers to the queries, right? Even a
Yes.
chatbot can be a Copilot to you, right? The moment you integrate a chatbot to all of your Google Drive, it will give you the information of your Google Drive, right?
Mhm.
Whatever we'll be doing in these verticals, let's say if we develop an AI agentic system for a retail B2B vertical, that is going to have the Copilot capabilities, and we can keep on extending that. If in case you want to, I'm not sure. See, we haven't integrated with Microsoft Copilot. I'm not sure if they provide commercial APIs for that also, right? But a good idea is to keep the. I mean, you build a Copilot for your organization, and essentially the bot that will be building is a Copilot for you.
Yes.
The bot that we build
But
is a Copilot for you.
yeah, but I mean, because see, the whole story has started because I have access to Microsoft's all the infrastructure, right, for this particular project. So I haven't even fully explored what API calls they have and everything. OpenAI, and they have too many things out there. I haven't even gone there. So, and I see that I think there are companies that are also trying to do Odoo CRM integration. They again they are saying Copilot, but it is not Microsoft's. They are not integrating with Mike, not necessarily. So maybe they are building their own, like you said. We are also going to do that. My only concern was okay, whether it's the hassle of developing your own, or if they're, I think they are having these subscriptions, like for $10 a month or $30 a month, you are getting access to their Copilot. Definitely. So it is, you can use their APIs to invoke and get the data, whatever, prompting and everything. So this is where I was trying to see if it helps us in the development cycle, and obviously anything that updates on their side, we are going to get that benefit also. But the question of with that integrity that you mentioned, that the best way to secure is by writing your own Copilot, isn't it?
Yes,
But
yes,
I
yes.
think I've picked up from somewhere that it is possible, maybe some secured framework, or Microsoft itself is aware that if you're having proprietary data coming to their bot, they have some provision to process it in a secure way. I have to figure out. So, but yeah, so you're saying that we can develop something still as sophisticated with what is available to us. We no need to integrate Microsoft's Copilot or any open source if there's anything out there. Okay,
Right.
got it.
So for that, it will be essential for us to define what this Copilot will be doing, right? And
Mhm.
then maybe we can brainstorm that what is the best way forward to achieve or build a Copilot feature into this application.
Okay. The last point on this list is pricing, adaptation, customization. Look, right now we are only talking, the scope is proprietary data of the client and our bot that is a standalone product, or it's a web-based application, or with a web UI also, but it is integrating. No, I'm only looking at. I'm not looking at the enterprise clients. I'm looking at the SMBs, SMEs, and many of them may have HubSpot or Zoho or some other CRM, and many of them simply won't have. They are very disorganized, and we want to help them so that they can streamline their business. So they may not be using any CRM. They may be only using spreadsheets. So there may be several data sources that we are going to talk to. How how complex will be that implementation, and what challenges we may have?
So what do we want to achieve there? As in, for those organizations, what do we want to achieve?
Now, one area is the GTM because it is for the strategic decision makers. And obviously, the other, I don't know if I told you the last time, is, there will be areas like market analysis, lead gen,
Right.
contracts, negotiations. So that is based on internal data, web scraping. Obviously, we know that you download into the buckets and do the retrieval, augmentation, generation. Probably that is more straightforward. But when it comes to integration, it could be that you read data from, if there is a client for whom we customize this product, they may have data sitting in Excels or emails. They just want intelligence based on that. Like their decision makers want to
That
do
is our core
intelligence based.
offering. So that is our core offering.
That
I
is
mean,
your core offering.
that's what we expertise at. So then we are able to integrate different data sources, build one conversational based UI for you that will generate either the AI based insights or you can ask the questions. So let's say if in case you have an opportunity data sitting in a Google spreadsheet, right, and you want to
Mhm.
know as a sales director, you want to know uh, how the opportunity growth has been in last 6 months. The bot or the AI is going to give you insights on that, right?
So, okay. So this is like you're saying that you have done some, like you have ready components to use your own
Not ready,
libraries, or
not ready, but as in we have built this expertise of integrating different data sources, and then as in bringing all this data into one single DB, applying an AI on top of that DB, right, and then generating insights for you. I'm not sure. I mean, did I show you last time an image wherein I was? I mean, I had different applications, and I mean, we built an AI for that. Did I show you that image? Okay, I'll put it
no?
again here.
Yeah, you can. I don't think I have seen that. Just trying to. I have gone away from the big screen. Okay, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, yeah, you can share that. I think I
Sure.
may not have seen it last time.
See. So then, this is one of the product that we have built for a marketing agency, and this was done for a US customer. Essentially, this marketing agency has leads coming from different channels, right? So all of these are their marketing channels through which the lead are coming, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
this what we did was all of this data was across different platforms, right? So we integrated and we bought all of these platform into one data model into one db, right?
Is
And then
so what DB is this? A vector DB or what is that? What
no,
database?
this is a proper NoSQL db, MongoDB.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
can be done with SQL also. PostgreSQL also can be done, right? Next
Okay.
comes, so now we have the data in one single platform, right? Entire
Yeah.
marketing data is into one single db. Now we do the AI based analytics. So what we did was, from this DB, we identified what leads qualified to be an ICP for the marketing agency.
Got it.
And for this qualification, we had rules that we defined, that we have set up in the bot. So the bot was intelligent enough to understand which lead is an ICP for you. Those ICPs were pushed to the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was HubSpot actually for them. And then in the HubSpot, there were different email sequences or drip campaigns that were set up to do an outreach campaign to those ICPs.
Right. Okay. So the end-to-end journey for the reps to gather data and create the ICP leads and running the campaigns. You have you
Exactly.
have you're developed this application. And is this the one that you told me that you did this sales project for? This is your that basically this is the SaaS offering that you developed for your client, the sales
For
project.
yes,
Okay. And this is like the only one or the major one that you have done in the sales
this
domain.
is one. This is one of the product that we have built. We also have see as in now this is one channel of the lead qualification, lead consolidation. Here also
Yeah.
is in, let's say, if in case your opportunity data sits here, right, a lot of analytics can be done on top of this. So what we have done is we have created conversational interfaces that are integrated with HubSpot or Salesforce, and it allows you to interact with your data. So let's say if you have leads data, you have accounts data, you have opportunity data, that's what you can do, right? You integrate it with Oracle NetSuite, you'll be able to get a billing information or let's say invoices information. You integrate it with ChargeBee, you are able to get your billing information, right? So one single interface as a sales leader to give you the entire view of how your organization's revenue metrics are right now, both achieved or booked or forecasted. So as in,
Right.
it is actually eliminating the need for creating one more Salesforce report or one more HubSpot report. You don't have to go and configure a new report in Salesforce and download that. You can ask the questions in the NLP, and the bot is going to give you those answers.
Okay. So here you have pushed this data and your team has the expertise to connect to. Obviously, they have to use their APIs to connect to Salesforce or HubSpot or any other CRM. It is pushed there. And now the when you say based on that you are generating intel, so this is not vector DB. So my confusion here is how the on what where is the bot going to pull the data and put it in the LLMs and train on them? How the data sync will happen between data in the CRM source data
Mhm.
and the bot
The bot
and
will
its
be
model.
the bot will have access. The bot will have access to the source data. The bot will
Correct.
have access to the source data. The bot will constantly access the source data. The moment you do a question, the bot will do a query. Will do a query
So
to the source data, will fetch the answer, and then will convert it into an NLP format and show it to you. That's how it works.
So is this also real time in a way that
Almost
if
real time.
let's say that bot is obviously trained on let's say last 5 years data, but also in the last week or last even day, if that is not that emergency data, but it is eventually learning. It is taking its time to learn, but it can be very recent data that it is continuously update, learning on updated data, I
See,
guess.
as in the training data here doesn't changes a lot because you kind of, as in what is the training data here? So you'll be kind of training data with more of context. So you'll be telling the prompt, you'll be telling the bot who'll be working majorly here that you have to look at the DB on which you have to find out the ICP. These are the rules of the ICP, right? The bot will find the ICP and will push it to the CRM. So the training data doesn't changes a lot. The data that changes is this, and bot is going to constantly access the data. So let's say every day if 1,000 leads are coming, the bot is going to access that 1,000 leads, will find out the ICP, will push it to the CRM. Let's say out of 1,000 it pushes 10, right? So as a human, you don't have to look at 1,000 leads and find out or call them and ask them that, hey, are you interested in my product? So the AI, what the AI has done is AI has given you that targeted list of 10 to whom you can call now with the with the max possibility of getting converted.
Right. And coming to last time, I think we discussed about the reusability of models, etc. And I was diving deeper in on my own also. Your team
Mhm.
now, when we get specific, your team has done it for somebody, so obviously they know how to do it. For me, let's say, obviously they don't have those particular APIs because it was developed for them. It is their IP, their proprietary system,
Right.
but they will be able to do it quicker because they have done it before.
Yes.
And this was hosted on prem. I think you said it is not a cloud. No, it's a SaaS,
SaaS offering. So it was hosted
AWS.
on their AWS. Yeah.
Okay. And all right, that's good to know. So from this list, I think I have answers to the questions.
If you
I
want, I
need to
can
go.
send this to you. I'll send it to you in the chat also, so that you have it if in case you want to look at it later.
Yeah, it's interesting because yesterday I was speaking to a sales commercial lead, and he highlighted this requirement of how much time he's spending, and obviously it is part of what I have imagined that we will have this feature, right? So he's like,
Correct.
okay, that's definitely a must have. So and you already have developed this, so you know how to do it, and you can integrate everything like CRMs. Even
We
if you're
can.
not host,
Okay, I'll
yeah.
give you one more thing, right? See, as in you, we are also, we are now moving ahead on this, right? So this is like you got the lead data, you have set up your outreach campaigns, right? Now let's say you have booked the opportunity, right? As in your opportunity is booked, your deal is closed. Okay. Then comes a renewal. Maybe let's say 1 year later, it comes a renewal. For a B2B product, let's say 1 year later, it comes a renewal. Now let's say you have 1,000 customers. You need someone who should be looking at those renewals, sending your customers quote, getting the POs, getting the invoices raised, and then eventually consolidating the bank accounts. Correct. In companies like Adobe, in companies like Microsoft, usually 100 people sit to kind of manage some 1,000 to 1,200 customers. Right. What we are building is we are building an AI based quoting automation tool that will be looking at your renewals data and will generate quotes for your customers. That too at a, those quotes will be having different approvers. So let's say there's a sales VP who will be approving, then goes to finance, then goes to legal. So everyone approves and then the quote triggers to the customer, right? So we are building that also. As in, we are kind of, this is one that we have built. Now next we are building a co-pilot for quoting automation. As in you build that, or you kind of use that co-pilot for coding automation, and then you'll be able to automate a lot of things there, right? And let's say if in case if let's say if you're Adobe, right? In Adobe, what happens is if in case you sign a 3 year deal, right? So year one is let's say 100K. Year two you have applied a uplift clause of 10%. Year three there's an uplift clause of 12%. There's a huge possibility that as a renewal rep, because let's say in year one it was with me, now I have left organization, year two it is with you. There's a huge possibility that you will be not looking at the contract, you will see the ARR, and you will talk to the customer on the same numbers. But in the contract there is an uplift clause mentioned that was agreed with the customer and that has been signed, right? So this AI will be giving you those insights like those. So whenever a renewal is approaching, AI will tell you if there is an uplift clause mentioned or not, if if the discounting has been removed or not, if there is any additional support fees agreed for the year 2, year 3 or not, right? So all of those things can be done with AI.
And you are doing it for a client, a different client than that
We are doing
client.
it. We're just starting that project. In fact, I mean, more of it is in prospecting state. Hopefully, in July we should be closing that deal, and then we'll be building that.
All right. So interestingly, this is another
And that is
kind of.
almost a 70K 80K project. So that's a big project. Because see, I mean, so I'll just repeat. So that is almost a 70K 80K project, because actually we are replacing two big softwares. One is Salesforce CPQ. Second is Oracle Net Fusion. Salesforce CPQ is only doing quota automation. Oracle Net Fusion is doing your invoices. So I'll be replacing both of those. So almost $1 million software you'll be replacing with this small software.
Okay, there comes the interesting bit, because so far we are only discussing like the people that I'm talking to, CEOs and VPs. Okay, you know what? We are just a small fish, and these people have this sophisticated machinery. Now you're talking of replacing their software because it is too expensive. Okay, that's interesting.
Salesforce is very
And
expensive.
uh,
Salesforce
yeah,
is very expensive.
but
Most
then
of the Salesforce deal happens on dinner, wherein these millionaires meet and then they just sign the deal. And most of the time, it
yeah,
is not required.
but as a subscription, isn't it very cheap? Like if you're subscribing per user, it is cheap, right? Like
It is
I don't know. But then when you're saying it's expensive, it is like a blanket deal for the entire organization. That is why it is that expensive, isn't it? Like you said, million
we
dollars.
yes, that is a blanket deal for the organization. Usually comes with, let's say, 1,000 licenses, 1,000 users using that, right? Again, more for Adobe's and Microsoft, wherein they have large GTM teams and they kind of use those softwares. They have inside sales. They
Yes.
have, geography. They have territory quotas. They have different quotas. They have different types of sales teams, CSM teams, renewals team. There are a lot of people involved, and then thus they need those softwares. So what we are doing
Okay.
is, as
And
in even within those organizations, we are targeting those departments who are, I mean, who want to buy Salesforce or who are considering to buy Salesforce, but budget is a constraint for them. We want to target those.
so when you say we want to say, this is you're doing it for a client, or again, it's not your product, right?
This one will be building as our product.
I see. And the so so if you're saying that you may get this order from a client to do it, it's budget, let's say 70, 80K, whatever it is, but then it is going to be implemented in a mid-sized company because they have budget constraints. I'm just trying to identify, like, what is the size of your target client. All right. Interesting. Also, there are other things, like I recently found some startup company doing AI tool which integrates with Odoo CRM, Odoo Sales, and they are processing their invoicing and everything. And I think they are doing some predictions and stuff like that. But I don't know what the point was. This was just, I think it just came from somewhere. It is not a defined point that I wanted to discuss with you. Maybe I will get more clarity on that and I will discuss with you another time. But for now, looks like we are heading towards like I last time I spoke to you about only other things, implementation perspective. Maybe I told you about lead gen and those things. So this time I discussed the sophisticated requirement for the VPs. Uh,
GTM
and
plan.
you also had told me last time the efforts, like, you told me a team of just the front end and back end guy. But now what I have realized is that I agree what you're saying, that this is not a huge complex data science project, right? But
Yeah,
still, isn't it essential to have one data scientist? Maybe his time will be divided, like he's not always involved. There's
so
definitely, like from my
we
side, there is a dedicated product owner or business analyst who has to be there always, right? It
correct,
may not be
correct,
always me, because he will
correct.
also be the sales SME. From your side, don't you like, I know that probably it's a small startup yours, uh, so people wearing multiple hats. So your engineers, let's say your backend engineer, he's also skilled in DevOps, so he also does the infrastructure.
Yes. So we will be
uh,
managing your infrastructure. As in we have a DevOps team. So then all the deployments will be managed by that team. So we have a two people DevOps team, and their time is divided actually across the projects. So we don't deploy a DevOps engineer to a project. We have a central DevOps team. They kind of manage the entire infrastructure. Right now we have some 6 projects on which we are working, and they two people are able to manage that. Right? So that will be managing. See, as in we have Himanshu, who himself has been a data scientist, right? And that has been his core competency. He's the co-founder along with me, right? And if you want, as in we can get Himanshu also on board, but again that comes with those additional pricing, right? Because he isn't he is usually at 70 USD per hour, right? So that's what. But again, we don't need him to work 40 hours a week, right? So there can be additional tasks, but Sachin, I don't see him or I don't see a data scientist need, maybe at least for initial 1 month when we are kind of designing or discussing or designing the application or making the initial frameworks, right? Maybe when this project goes big, let's say we have 10 customers, right? And then we need our model to evolve, right? Or let's say if in case we are switching from an OpenAI model to an open source model, there comes the need of Himanshu. People like Himanshu who need to come in and then who need to kind of organize the things, think from a data perspective, get things done from a data perspective, all those things. That is where we need people like Himanshu. But at least in 1 month, 2 months, in fact, I don't see any data scientists for this project. I don't see a need. Let's start with one use case. Let's solve that. Since you have talked to a few sales VPs, let's go back to sales VPs and show them that what my product can do. Let's get their feedback and let's see if they are ready to use those if they want to use the MVP as an early adopter.
you know what, actually these people that I've spoken to, they are potential co-founders. They're very keen to onboard with me, and they are not
Hmm.
really the direct, uh, but I will soon
Users,
have speak to them also, because obviously these people also have equal experience, that as good
hmm,
as they are potential clients. But
correct.
yeah, um, because this is a very key requirement for GTM, and you give me additional what do you call, additional enhancement, that is validating their strategy, not just creating, validating their strategy against existing
There
pool
will
of.
be needing and there we need a data scientist.
Hmm.
There we need.
But so why, I need to understand why you are saying that in the first month of this MVP that we can showcase, why we don't need data classification or data scientist.
Because we are not doing validation, right? We are only generating the strategy. As in, we are
Oh,
not doing
so
validation by the model. The model is not doing validation. We'll be doing the validation. Phase two is the
okay.
model itself is doing validation.
So are you hinting at, in the first month, let's say we do the MVP, whatever screen we want to show with whatever heat map and whatever, we just
Correct.
plug in the lead gen functionality that you showed me, that diagram, because it's quicker for you to develop because you have the in-house expertise. Is that what you're
Okay.
hinting at?
Yes.
Okay. And that's saying literally it can be done in a month.
No. As in, it depends on the number of sources. This one is almost a 4 month project because there are different marketing channels, right? You'll see it has WhatsApp, it has Google Ads, it has Meta Ads. So
Mhm.
in there, I mean, integration takes time. Integration takes time, and then we need to bring that data into a structured way, right? Because we have a central database on top of which the Copilot is built. We have to pull data from different sources. When we pull data, we have to organize data into a structured database because we have defined the format, right? So that takes time.
So for the sake of simplicity for the MVP, can we choose the most important, say, 4 or 5 sources,
And
and
yes, and
those?
what those sources can be? Let's say one can. I mean, what those sources are you thinking about? HubSpot.
Yeah, I would say, because I mean, see, look, we may be approaching maybe 1 or 2 big enterprises, but that is not my focus, because my discussion with the CEO was that I mean, I don't know how advanced Salesforce Einstein is. I haven't used it, or
What's the name?
I
Salesforce
don't know.
Einstein.
Einstein, Salesforce Einstein, or uh,
Let's see.
HubSpot has its own Copilot.
Oh,
I
this.
don't want to take them head on right now. That is not my goal. I
No,
don't know what I can offer there.
there is no point of going against Salesforce right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, people have also even promoted saying, you know what, they lack a lot of things. It's not that I'm not taking them head on. Of course, that was not my goal. It's just my own innovation that I am thinking. But if it happens that there is a clash, like then I need to I need to know what they are doing. But I haven't done that detailed deep dive. All I know is that Dynamics 365 Copilot, Microsoft Copilot integration, and their APIs. But I need to do more homework in that front. So I'm attacking only, let's say, for SMEs. So maybe they're using HubSpot or Zoho,
Yeah.
uh, or maybe even
HubSpot,
nothing at
so
all. I don't know.
Jason, if in case you see a lot of integrations happening, then we should also be thinking of developing an integration hub. So if there are two integrations that can be done from the backend, but then if let's say if in case you want to build a software that allows the user to integrate us, I mean any CRM. Let's say I want to integrate Zoho, you want to integrate HubSpot, then we need to build an integration hub. So this hub will have the capability of accepting API keys. You click on the button, accept the API keys. If you fill in the API keys, does the API calls, do the authentication, and then it gets integrated, right? So again, so if MVP only one, let's do it from backend. If you want to scale it up, we'll have to build the integration hub, and accordingly, the effort will be there.
Integration hub is simply a layer that is managing these API communications, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
but ultimately it is writing to what you said was the database, the all
Great.
this. Not you told me two things. One was NoSQL database for I think that leads data, but this whatever you have pulled, what database was that? In the
It's a
diagram,
structured
maybe I
database
can.
that is a structured database that we have created. That is also a NoSQL database.
Okay, all right,
Just two different
fine. So
databases.
okay, so we are just trying to finalize which will be the, let's say, top three or five sources we want to implement in that
I'll
first
I'll
phase,
suggest
right?
start with yeah, I'll suggest start with one. Start very small, right?
Hmm.
Let's do it with one. Let's find out a Zoho user who may be interested. Let's build it for him. Let's show it to him, and let's get feedback. Let's find a
Okay,
HubSpot user. Let's give demos, plan demos, have webinars, right? As in, it will be your product. You can do webinars, you can do demos. Let's do it, and then let's get feedback. That's
okay,
how we
cool.
build a good product.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I now I'll keep this in mind. Whoever I am approaching, any early adopter, what they're using, what if they're using Salesforce, fine. But if it is almost uh, known that we may get them in on board early, then we should start thinking from that angle. But
Absolutely.
I think for the SMEs, probably Zoho or HubSpot. I will keep that in mind. All right, cool.
Perfect.
Uh, okay, that's good. Really interesting. Actually, I should probably involve my. I think almost I've decided that he would be there, and he and one she probably in the next discussion, hopefully, because then we'll be actually finalizing the scope.
Perfect.
But now, last time you have given me some estimates of the costing, right?
Correct.
We would want to see because when I now this is all we're talking verbally, but probably the next time we would want to see that actual estimation. But of course, you are vaguely aware of the requirements for the MVP. We'll have to drill down and actually prepare that estimation. So when do you
Right.
think you want to do it, or you will have enough input to do it?
So what I'll need from you is if you have decided what all goes in an MVP, give me maybe in a document format that this is what you want to do. These are the integrations you want to do, and then maybe I can give you some vague estimations.
Okay,
So we
that's
have
that's
two pricing models. One is the 40 hour USD, which is the pricing for two developers, right? Designer, if you want to bring your designer, it's good. If in case you want us, because we have designers also in house, maybe I'll be adding 15 USD for the designer part, because designers will be needing it. Maybe let's say, initial 1 month we need that. If the designs are complete, we may not need a designer every day, right? So maybe we can do that. But 40 USD is for the dev, in which you'll be having two developers who will be working with you, and and one project manager also. That project manager will be initially I'll be working with you. Then I'll be connecting you with the project manager. He'll be, maybe if we have a Slack channel, there we will connect, and there we can collaborate. Or we'll have two meetings a week in which the project manager will be coming and updating you on the progress, right? But before that, a proper requirement gathering has to be done. As in I'll tell you, I'll explain the key how we start. So let's say we start the contract on Upwork. We start with the requirement gathering. We only do the requirement of phase one, which we are developing. We start with the smallest thing. We do the requirement. It takes maybe 2 to 3 days. Then we start with the designs. We start with the design. We show the designs to you. If that makes sense, you approve it. We start the dev. While the development happens, the project manager and the designer works with you for phase two, and then phase two goes into development. Now you are testing phase one on staging. So by end of first month, you'll have at least a version of the software to test. Accordingly, phase two is being developed. Phase three is being requirement gathering is done, designing is discussed, and you are testing phase one, right? Next phase three goes into development. Phase two goes into your environment wherein you are testing. Now you are testing phase one and phase two. I'm sure you'll be having feedbacks. You'll be giving those feedbacks. That is why, Sachin, I don't sell fixed cost projects. It gets very difficult for us to kind of see, as a customer, you want to change things very quickly, and every time you want to change a thing, I'll come saying that, hey, there's a scope change and we have to discuss cost. I don't want to do that. It is a bad experience for you as a customer and for me as an agency owner, right? So we only do hourly, or the cheaper option is a monthly cost project. The monthly cost is some 4250 USD is what we sell it, plus 10% taxes. So 4250, something around 4500 USD we sell it. If you take, as in, this goes to cheaper as 20 USD per hour, for two developers, gets very cheaper. But then this stays outside Upwork, wherein you will be doing a direct bank transfer to our account, right? So both options are available for customers who have worked with me for, let's say, 3 months, 4 months. They opt for this because it gets cheaper for them also and for me also. Or since we are just starting up, so Upwork can be the preferred way wherein we can start the contract and we can things going. Maybe after a month, after 2 months, if in case you like the collaboration, we can switch to direct bank transfers. That is an advanced monthly payment that we do.
See. Yeah, I get a hang of it. That is why I wanted this recording, so I share it with my partners,
Sure,
and we can plan for the next subsequent discussions.
sure, sure,
I
sure.
think for now, I think it's good. I need to sink it in, and let's stay in touch.
Sure. I'll suggest that you at least know, when we are meeting for the next call or before next call, give me what you're thinking that goes into phase one, right? And
Mhm.
then let's start the contract. We'll do the requirement gathering. Then we'll start with the designer, and then we can take it up forward.
So just to recap, you said phase one, phase two, phase three. It was from the perspective of for the MVP itself, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
you're saying that when the phase one you complete it, then you transition, move it to my testing environment or the
Correct.
client's VPC or whatever it is, and then you do. So you're dividing this MVP itself in three phases, 1 month each. Is it?
No, no,
Is
I'm
that
not
how?
dividing. No, no, I'm not dividing your MVP in 3 months. I was just giving you an example that how we deliver. Now you develop an MVP or you develop an enterprise application, the methodology stays same.
Mhm. All right. I will probably revisit this by going through the video again. But for now, I have some inputs and
Perfect.
additional possibilities. So we'll connect again.
And if in case
Yes.
sure. So maybe I'll give you more examples. See, as in, are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. See, then
Yes.
this is an AI platform that we are building for lawyers. Okay. Can you hear me?
Hmm. Yes. Yes. You can
Okay.
you can
So
hear
this
me,
is
right?
I can, yeah. So this is an
Uh,
AI platform. This is an AI platform that we are building for the lawyers. You can see this is a production account, right? Then we have this staging account. This is staging. Okay. So whatever we develop on this. We test it out, we give you a demo. When you say yes, we move these features to production, and this is actual which is in the market,
Yeah,
right?
this is
So that's how
what you
we
call.
develop.
Carry on, carry on.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I'm done. I mean, I was just explaining that how we develop and deliver, right? So as in, you call it an MVP, you call it phase one, phase two, whatever terminology you can use, but the methodology stays same for us. So we start with the requirement gathering of a very small thing. We do the design, we develop that, we show it to you. Then eventually we do the requirement gathering of the next thing. We develop that, we show it to you, and as you approve, it goes into production, and then you are able to test that. That's how we do.
Mhm. Okay, interesting. I'll prepare better for the next meeting so that it can be more specific on everything and involve other stakeholders
Yeah.
also.
So, isn't what essentially? I mean, are you like thinking to build that vertical wala thing? Yeah, you want to build that is an lead gen wala thing. What are you? What do you want to start with?
The answer will only be clear when I have my next discussion with these two cells, like one VP, and because one VP is, like I said, is more focused on the GTM aspect, and
Hmm.
other is focused on the SDR's requirements. So what do we present to whoever based on who we are approaching? Let's say if we are approaching a enterprise firm like a management consulting firm, and they allow us to deploy this for testing even the MVP in their systems as early adopters. So is it, if it is going to be used for SDRs, we start with lead gen, which you already have that expertise. Or if we directly take it to, let's say, a fintech company VP, he wants to start pilot testing, then probably we start with, but in that case, it's a high risk for us because, as you know, the much difficult, tough nut to crack,
Yeah,
fintech companies. And so probably I will be focused more on this, starting with the lead gen aspect, but I need to do more market, like competitor analysis, because I know there are several players doing some things like that. So it is not something totally new. I'm sure these companies have been approached by others before. So
correct.
I have to think from that angle. And I will be more tempted to go in the GTM space. But like I said, it is not going to be easy because it is not proven. The strategic creation, how far the VP will believe in it, because he can pay whatever we want for that kind of service. But the important question is what AI is generating, is it credible for them? Because the second part is not going to be ready soon, the validation part, because that is also very, very important. So I have to think from all these angles, and we will. What is your personal view, because you work with sales clients? Where would be easier for us to make entry so that we subsequently sign up 10 clients, and we expand the scope of the project also for you also to get more work?
I think the lead gen may help you, or may help you land with clients quickly. That is a sort of effort, but again, I don't know how much. I mean, what the environment is. I believe we'll be selling it in London, right? In Europe.
That's obviously because we are here.
Hmm.
But of course, I can travel to US anytime and just start pitching myself
Hmm.
there.
Got it.
And so possibilities are that we want to. In fact, I would be tempted to go to US first if I
Okay.
than London. But because my co-founders are in London,
Hmm.
they are having more tunnel vision of London and UK. But I will be rather tempted to go straight, take a flight and go to Florida, or not Florida, I would say wherever it is. So
Okay.
personally, I would go, but I know the space, it is getting clouded eventually. Too many startups. But somebody rightly pointed out that they are doing very generic stuff. They are not focusing inside the system's proprietary stuff. Lots of tools out there, even for what I mentioned, GTM, cold calling tools. Too many things are coming up, popping everywhere.
Correct. Correct.
So
True. Perfect, Sachin. So good talking to you. And this is good. I mean, this can be a good project. So let me know as soon as you have more clarity. We can again talk again, and let's get the contact started. Let's get going on this.
Yeah. So what you said is that there is potential with your from your viewpoint also. Obviously, for the possibilities and for getting early leverage and early
Right.
sponsorships. Okay, that's because I'm probably having a counter in my mind. I think I have three like CEOs and VPs, and now a founder of a tech startup who has done sales products before. You are also incrementing the counter and making it four now. That's good.
Perfect.
All right, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sachin. Good day.
All right then.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Take care. Bye. See you soon. Bye.